Again to your ReWirement for Success, and I remind you that my Facebook page is called Your ReWirement for Success. You can search for it on Facebook, and you can email me at yourrewirementforsuccess@gmail.com. That's how easy it is to get a hold of me. So here we are, week 3. What have we talked about in the prior weeks? First thing we talked about was that we need to take more responsibility for our lives and what's happening in our life, and we do that by using the formula E plus R equals O. For every event that you are approached with, you need to respond appropriately to get the outcome you want. Not react to the event, but think about, okay, with this event, what outcome do I want? And then respond to get it. And I suggest that you try to act as if you're 100% responsible and practice using this formula. I mean, I can't only talk about the experience I've had with it. You need to experience it. You need to get confident with it. You need to realize that if you respond the events around you to get the outcomes you want, that you will get the outcomes you want. Or if, hey, that didn't work, well, what do I need to make change? How can I change my response to get that outcome? It's very powerful, and we could spend 6 days just talking about the experience of it, but I want to give you the shotgun of what this ReWirement for Success can do for you. So we're going to move on. The second week, we talked about what do you want and why, and I actually asked you to do an exercise with a good friend or your spouse, hopefully is your friend, or someone that you trust for sure, and just have them ask you, what do you want? What do you want? Just keep asking you, what do you want? Because the first few times you ask, what do you want? It's, oh, I want a Big Mac for lunch or something like that. But when you actually get down to what do you want, you have to get rid of the easy stuff first. It's not an easy question to answer, and it needs some soul searching and look inside yourself. What do you want? So hopefully, go ahead, Monica.
Is there anything you would like to share?
Well, I'm saying,
I'm not sure.
Are you not seeing my screen?
No, I'm not seeing your screen now. Have you shared it yet?
Yep, I've shared it.
No. Well, it's not showing here.
Well, let's go back out then.
Well, once you press share your screen, I'll be able to edit to the there we are. Very
now
cool.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about E plus R equals O, and what do you want? Sorry, I guess I didn't push the share button twice. That's what it was asking.
Right.
Anyway, that was an important exercise that we need to have done for today. And what I want to share with you is that, you're going to have to ask yourself more than once, what do you want? And it's actually more powerful coming from someone else. And they can write down what you say, and then you can review it later. But they should ask you for 20 minutes. I'd like to see if you could come up with 20 things of what you want. And you get down to the things, the deeper things, the challenging things, the more important things that maybe you haven't been reaching for because of some of the socialization that we had, where we're telling, money doesn't grow on trees, and we started giving up on what we want and just living, earning a living. But I'm encouraging you to ask, what do you want? So today we're going to move to learning to believe in yourself. And I hope you do believe in yourself. I actually would ask you that question today. Do you believe in yourself? And one of the things that you should be doing is you should be displaying in places of honor some of your achievements. Maybe you won trophies in the past for your singing, which is something for me. I won a singing trophy when I was 11 years old and in grade, was it 11 and grade 8? 8 and 5. I won a singing trophy, and I have won some ski races. I have the plaques up on the wall. I've got my diplomas on the wall. Why do you do that? Because it builds up your self-esteem, and it builds up your appreciation for yourself. It's something we're going to talk about today, is appreciation. And the other thing I encourage you to do is keep a list of your accomplishments. What are things that you've done? Because, you know, when you're having a bad day, go back and look at the things you've done and pump up your self-esteem again. So what do I call that? I call it the poker chip theory of self-esteem. And self-esteem is like having a stack of poker chips. Now, I'm not a poker player, but I've watched people play poker. I know when we've gone on vacation, they've had, you know, people playing poker. My wife likes to play poker, and I've watched her play poker. You have, you know, more poker chips in front of you than somebody else. You get a little bit, you don't feel like you're taking a risk when you make a bet, and life is exactly like that. So you should be displaying your achievements somewhere, place of honor for yourself. You know, that picture of you up on the podium for me when I won the ski medal, things like that, and pictures of where you felt you were successful. I encourage you to have them displayed. I can't tell you enough. I know that when I started on this pathway, one of the things that I hadn't done is I did not go to university from high school. I was supposed to. I had planned it. I actually took a 5-year program in high school to go to university, and I said, no, I'm not ready to go. I don't want to go. And went to university when I was 40 years old. And probably, you know, that first class that I took was actually on bookkeeping, you know, the Business 101. And it was a challenge for me. And I thought, you know, I don't know if I can do this. And probably because of the way I was socialized in school, I didn't feel I could be a university graduate, but I started into it, and I passed that first course with honors. Actually, it was a struggle. It was hard work. And then I realized that I could do this, and I went on to, you know, get my 14 more credits, to get my 15 credits, and got a university degree when I was 40-some years old. And it was not something that I ever thought I could do. I never thought I could graduate, and no one in our family had done it before. And I don't know, it's why you need to collect what you did. But anyway, after 20 years of it sitting actually in our basement, both my wife and I both had graduated the same year, and we kind of made a pact to go together and even took courses together. I went and dug out those diplomas, and they were already in frames. Can you believe it? We had moved them. We hadn't put them anywhere. We put them up on the wall, and I see them every day, and reminds myself of that achievement that I never thought I could achieve. So I'm telling you, it's very, very powerful. So go dig those out. See how you feel when you look at them. Even the high school diploma. Not everyone graduated from high school. So I really do encourage you, go dig them out. And start a victory log. You know, whether you get an email at work, somebody thanking you for what you've done for them, or some achievement that you've achieved, you need to keep a record of them, because when you're having a day when you need to build up your self-esteem, you go back and you read that file. And one of the other things that I recommend is, what are your personal strengths? One of the attachments, if you send me a request for the workbook, is actually your personal strengths. And it's a sheet, it's almost 2 pages in long with all kinds of personal strengths you might have. And I encourage you to go down it. And I'm going to read a few things to you, but you could do this on a piece of paper yourself, but it's nice to have a list. Are you able to give orders? Are you able to take orders? Are you able to accept advice from others? Are you considerate? Are you compassionate? Are you creative? Do you enjoy talking to others? Are you fair? Are you forceful? Are you frank and honest? So you can see that if you go down this list, you can check off all the ones that are appropriate for you. And it's just encouraging to realize when you're done, see all the ones that you've checked off. And if there's any that you didn't, like, for example, are you mathematical? Well, maybe it's something you need to work on. But it's a very powerful exercise, and I encourage you, if you want a copy of that page, I'll certainly send it to you. Your ReWirement for Success. One of the things that I found in my research is a quote by William Clement Stone. And William Clement Stone was actually a mentor of Jack Canfield's. And he said that if you tell people what you want to do, what you want to create, what your goals are, for example, they'll help you do it. And one of the persons that was mentored by William Clement Stone, he actually sat down and he wrote a list. I think it was I can't think of his name right now, but he wrote a list of 110 things you want to achieve in life. And he was actually a coach of football team at college, and he put this on the board for his college students to see. And he put down things like, I want to ride in a submarine, and I want to take I want to fly in a jet, like a fighter jet, and things like this. Well, when his students graduated, some of them one went on to become, to get stationed to a submarine, and he actually called up the coach and said, would you like that ride in the submarine? And that's somehow you get things. You don't always get things by finding them yourself, but by actually sharing your goals with people. They will call you and say, hey, I know you wanted to ride a submarine. Well, I'm now, a first mate of the Nautilus, and would you like to go for a ride in a submarine? And so he got these checked off because he shared them with people. People will help you. People want to help you do that. Another thing that I encourage you to do is prepare a vision board. And this is an example of what a vision board looks like. If you want to attract things into your life, you have to keep a vision in your mind of what you want. That house that you want, maybe that car that you want, or a happy family, or maybe you've got a health concern that you want to work on. Whatever it is, you should get pictures of that. One of the things I did, and I never actually went through with it, was I said at one point I was going to buy a Tesla because I'm a chief engineer, and I thought, well, gee, a chief engineer should have the state-of-the-art car. Tesla's an electric car, so you don't just get a picture of the Tesla. I actually went to the car dealership and I sat in the car and I got a picture taken of me in the car. And I had it on my vision board for a while, but I couldn't justify the cost of it. And maybe that's, my flaw. I ended up buying an electric e-bike that I ride, and I ride it with such great passion that I made the change from the car to the e-bike, because it's something I can do in retirement is ride an e-bike. The car was a whimsical thing, and I guess that's just not who I was. So I encourage you to think about starting a vision board of the things that you want to create in your life. Some of those things that you hopefully wrote down on what do I want sheet that I asked you to work on. Now, if you want to create a vision board, the things I would say, easy thing that I would suggest is you go to Michael's, and they have nice sheets that you can buy that, you know, they allow you to pin, you know, pictures on it. It's kind of like it's more than a bristle board. I can't remember what it is, but Michael's is one of the places where you can get it, and it stands like a frame. I have it, you know, in front of my bed in the morning. When I get up on my dresser, I can see it, and it's got the pictures of what I want to achieve in life. It's very powerful. To activate the law of attraction, and we haven't talked much about the law of attraction. I don't really want to go far into it today, but you attract into your life the things that you focus on, and that's one of the reasons why I really strongly recommend to you that you think about starting your own vision board. So what would you put on your vision board? What would that look like? Well, one of the handouts that I would send to you, if you requested it, is the vision exercise. And this is what it looks like. There are 7 areas that we're going to discuss briefly today: business, job and career, financial, relationships, health and fitness, fun, time and recreation, your personal visions, and any contribution or legacy that you want to try to create from your life. But these are the 7 areas that Jack recommends that you look at. And what I'm hopefully going to ask you to do is to think about, what would you do in the next 12 months? What could you do in the next 12 months in those 7 areas? So that's what we're going to look at. So a year from now, what would your business look like? What would your financial situation look like a year from now? If you, were to visualize, what could you actually do? Hopefully consider 3 things in each category, and we'll go to each slide individually. And what you really want to be asking yourself, what do I want to achieve in all these areas? And you don't have to work on all the areas, just 7 areas that Jack recommends that you look at. Need to work on the areas that hopefully stand out from your exercise where you did, what do I want? So the first one is business, job, and career. So what would this look like to you? If you close your eyes and you ask yourself subconsciously, what visions come into your mind? What do you see yourself in a year from now in the area of career? I mean, are you working in the career that you want to now? Is there a next level up that you want to achieve? I encourage you to write them down. Writing them down actually cements it in your brain that this is a goal that you want to achieve. And you can also help fill this in from maybe things from what you wrote earlier in that exercise. What do I want? Maybe something popped out here for you. But I really encourage you to sit quietly and think about, visualize yourself. Where do you see yourself in a year from now in your job, in your business, in your career? What salary would you be making? What clients will you have, or what customers are you reaching out to? Is it your business? Do you own the business? All kinds of things like that you want to maybe write down on the sheet. So that's business and career. What about financial? What would financial look like? Is there a certain amount of money that you want to have saved? What income will you make from your business or from your job if you get that promotion? What will your income be by the end of this year? What would you achieve? Do you want to reduce some debt? One of the things that we certainly have been doing for years, my wife and I, is that normally by 7 months into your year, you've paid for your Canada pension and unemployment and to the government. You could continue just to let that extra money come home to you, but what we've been doing is we take that money and we put it in a special account for vacations, for savings, for replacing the refrigerator, whatever. But it's whatever your payment is per month for your Canada pension and your unemployment, and you put it into account. So you got 4 months, 5 months of the year where you actually could be saving that money, maybe to reduce your debt. So here, you want to, it's financial. So what so changes you want to have done to your home? Where will your home be? You got some landscaping plans, maybe? Are you buying a horse or installing a pool? You want to get a new couch, maybe? All kinds of things like this, the things that you want to be visualizing. But don't worry about how you'll get these done. This is just a vision. This is attracting things. If you worry about how you might get it done, you think, well, I won't have enough money. And then you start thinking, well, money doesn't grow on trees. You get right back into that. Don't deflect yourself on this. This is time for you to dream. What about your relationships? Do you have some challenges? Maybe when you did that exercise, where you have a challenging situation in your life, maybe there's something you want to address. It'd be time to capture it now. Maybe you want to improve yourself. Maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want to, find some new friends. Maybe you want to join Toastmasters. So it could be something that would increase the happiness in your relationships. But things that you need to want to visualize. How can you have more family, more friends, more business college? So what kind of things maybe you want to plan to do together? How about that health and fitness thing that everybody wants to have, that ideal body? What could you do for health and fitness? Could you, walk 30 minutes a day? Could you drink more water? That's always something that certainly myself, I keep encouraging myself to do more. I don't drink enough water in the winter compared to my my thirst in the summer. Of course, when I ride my bike, I actually drink 2 liters of water with a camel pack on my back when I'm riding those 35 or 40 kilometers. Water is a great rejuvenant when you're doing that. What do you want your weight to be? I know one of my affirmations is I'm alive and healthy, weighing 175. So, this is something that I say to myself every day, and I'm weighing 181 now, and I'm well on the way to getting there. Are you disease-free or pain-free? Right now, I've got a sore knee. I fell on the ice and smacked my knee, and I'm envisioning working through this. So I encourage you to, what would you do for your health and fitness? What would be your vision in a year from now? What would you weigh? What would you look like? What exercises would you do every day? What about that fun and recreation? I mean, I know we're not allowed to really travel yet, but hopefully, my wife and I have planned a trip for November. We're hoping to be vaccinated by then. The government's promising that we'll have vaccinations by September, everyone. So we're hoping to have a trip to Mexico in November. So it's really nice to, I know for us, we like to have a something, vacation scheduled every year, especially to motivate us. Excuse me. So what are you planning with family and friends? I mean, can you plan an outdoor barbecue? We can now meet outdoors again. So what are the things that you may be doing? What about hobbies and sports? What do you do for fun? What do you see yourself a year from now in the fun and recreation area of your life? So what about that personal area? Would you go back to school? Would you get more training to get that promotion that you're looking for? Maybe attend some growth workshops. I put on here a picture of Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, which started me on this pathway. And I highly recommend that you check it out and maybe download it from the library on an app on your phone. If you don't know how to do that, the app itself is called Overdrive. You can download Overdrive on your phone, and you can download ebooks right from the library for free if you've got a library account. And if you live in Calgary, the library card is free. So I recommend that you check that book out and see if I'm talking to you, the straight and right out of from Jack's book, what I learned. But this is a good basis. It's a well worth reading book, and I highly recommend it. What about that car? I put a Mustang here. Everybody likes a convertible, but what do you want? Or maybe you're into getting that ring. The ring from The Hobbit is what I put on here. But what is it that you see? What did you put down in your personal area of your life? Of what do you want? Is there education and books that you want, or is there possessions that you want to have that you don't have now that maybe you want to save up? And these are things that you want just because you want them, and it's okay to want them. So maybe put them down, and then your mind will work on figuring out how to make it a possibility in your life. Legacy, the last area, is something, if you want to be of service to the community, you want to volunteer at the YMCA, you want to give back to others. I can't, put words in here for you, but certainly what's contribution that you want to give back to the community, because it's important to do that. So I want to move now to the appreciation exercise. And the appreciation exercise, trying to find it here. There's 4 areas at the top. And I encourage you to, if you have a piece of paper, you could write this down. But who do you appreciate? Whom do you appreciate? Is there people that you do? Have you ever done this? I know I had a health concern that lasted over 10 years and required surgery 3 times to correct it. I had cancer. Okay, I'll be honest with you. And the 3rd time's the charm, I guess. They solved it, and I went in. I have 3 doctors that were very prominent in, in that. And one was the neurosurgeon. I just happened to have one of the top neurosurgeons in all of Canada. He's won the Order of Canada. He's fantastic. And one day when I was there with him, I said, "Oh, Doc, I see you won the Order of Canada." I made him blush because he didn't know that. He didn't think. Well, nobody ever said it to him before, but I was I wanted to congratulate him on winning it and appreciate what he'd done for me, and that's when I told him that. And they don't hear it enough. I actually went into my family doctor, and I said the same thing to her. not the same day, but she had actually noticed that my some of the chemical levels in my body were out of whack. And she immediately called me up, says, come in and see me. And she adjusted the dosages. And really, that should have been the endocrinologist to do that. But she reacted right away. And I thank you for that. Again, I could tell that she doesn't hear it enough. Do you ever say to your doctor, I appreciate you? If you've ever done it, if you've ever said to someone you appreciate them for what they've done for you, the amazing effect in the room carries right over back to you. So I encourage you to start making a list of whom do you appreciate, and write down, what do you appreciate them for? How might you express it to them? And as we do in anything, is when will you do it? So set a date that you're planning to do that. Oh, I have an appointment with my masseuse on such and such a day, and I want to let them know that, what a great job they do for me. Or your spouse. It's another person you need to appreciate. Or maybe your children. I mean, this is an exercise that I can't encourage you enough to acknowledge, something vital in your life that's helped you be successful because of what they've done for you. I know ourselves too, with recognition of achievements, we feel ready to move on to new challenges. So, imagine what you're doing for that person. Make straight eye contact with them and be very personal and very honest with them, and fully acknowledge them with whatever your statement is of appreciation. You don't have to give them a certificate. I just have this here. It could happen. Maybe somebody works for you at work. You want to give them a certificate of appreciation. But know that we all like to be acknowledged by others for our special qualities that we have and our unique gifts, because we don't hear it enough. So the more you share and appreciate others, the more that will come back to you. So it's a gift that you learn learn how to recognize and acknowledge others for what they've had. And I want you to take this one step further. I want you to think about appreciating yourself, because we don't appreciate ourselves. This is whole exercise of self-esteem and listing what our successes are. We need to start appreciating who we are and that we're special, and there's no one else like us in the world, and we were put here for a reason. So we need to be appreciative of ourselves. And one of the ways you can do that is actually consider doing what we call the mirror exercise every night. Now, before you do this, the first few times, you're going to feel a little self-conscious, I admit. You may want to make sure your spouse or your children are aware that you're doing it. They may ask you about it. They might hear it. But the mirror exercise is very simple. This is what you do. You're going to stand in front of the mirror every night before you go to bed. And this is what I want you to do. You want to say your name. George is my name. I appreciate me. I appreciate myself for whatever achievements I achieved that day, whatever successes I had. I was successful in doing a podcast with Monica today. Whatever risks I've taken, you want to appreciate yourself for that. Whatever disciplines I kept. I actually went for that half-hour walk with my dog today, and then I said I was going to do. Any temptations you overcame, I had a glass of water instead of having that snack that I wanted so badly, and the water was really what I needed. And when you're finally got that all done, I want you to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. And I want you to say it as many times as you need to while you're looking at yourself in the mirror. I want you to breathe it in, and I want you to receive that moment of appreciation from yourself. I can't tell you how important that exercise can be. So now I want to move to actually exercise 3.1. Actually change the order that I have them in the workbook, but I call it exercise 3.1. I want you to think about now that you've wrote all these things down as your wants and your visions. What might help you is this exercise 3.1, where I want you to think about your life and divide it into 3 areas. The first third of your life, for me, would be up till I was 20 years old. The second third of my life, 20 to 40. And the third part of my life, when I was 40 to 60, 65 maybe. So I'm 66 now. And then finally, next 5 years going forward. But I want you to call this my success form. So you divide your life into third, and then for your first part of your life, for me up to 20 years old, what are 3 things that you found you were successful? And this was really easy for me because I can say things like, oh, I learned to drive a car, I got my driver's license, I graduated from high school before I was 20. And what would be the third thing? Oh, I won that singing trophy when I was in grade 8. So there's 3 things right there, very easy, that I can write for the first third of my life. The second third of my life, from 20 to 40, I passed my 4th class power engineering certification when I was 20 years old. I got a job with DuPont. I was very proud of that job. I worked for them for 13 years and ended up leaving as shift engineer with my 2nd class certification pass. So that's the second one. And the third one, you may find it funny, but I found out I love computers, and I took a programming course, and I ended up writing 7 programs that we used at DuPont that everybody used. So I was very, very proud of that as a success before 40. Third area of my life, 40 to plus. Well, at 42 years old, I won the ski race that I was trying to win. I said I was going to win the 40 and over race at my ski club, and it took me 2 years. I started when I was 40, but at 42, I actually won that race and actually took 2nd place overall, which totally surprised me. But it's something that I had wrote down as a goal and achieved it. So there you go. That's for me. What else did I do? Well, I graduated from university in the year 2001. Took me, I don't know, 5 or 6 years to make that a success. But I graduated in 2001. I'm not going to tell you how old I was, 40 something. And what else did I do? I moved out west, which was a goal that I set because I love to ski so much. I said, finally, why am I traveling on vacation to go skiing when I can ski in the mountains an hour away if I live in Calgary? So that's what I did. And then I want you to sit down and write, what do you want? What's your plans for the next 5 years? What successes do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? Write 3. So that's exercise 3.1. What could you be? What successes do you see yourself achieving in the next 5 years? If you really want a challenge, I encourage you to actually sit down and write the 100 successes that you have in life. There's one of the exercises that's included is the 100 success exercise. And, the first time I looked at that, I thought, I'll never fill those 2 pages with successes numbered from 1 to 100. But I'm going to tell you, you just start, you just lean into it, And then you start realizing all the successes you had. You learn to ride a bicycle. You know, you won a speaking contest. I can't even remember. I'd have to dig out my book, but I got to 100 and I've started my second 100. So I'm telling you, you don't think you can do it. Well, just keep that sheet handy and start writing down your successes, because the more you build up those poker chips, the better self-esteem you will have. You'll amaze yourself. You'll think, I can't do it, but you can. So those are 2 exercises that I leave you as homework. What are my successes if I divide my life into 3 equal stages, and then finally plan for the next 5 years? Or if you really want to push yourself, what are the 100 successes that I have achieved in my life? And if you have trouble with that, by all means, send me an email and I'll give you some hints, some more things that you've been successful. So that is the end of week number 3, Believe in Yourself. I don't know if there's any questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Next week will be the power of goal setting. So the power of goal setting, you need to take those visions, you need to take those items that you put on your vision board, you need to take those things that you've dreamed about, that you visualize, and you need to put them into goals. And that's what we're going to do next week. So I encourage you to show up next week. Is there any questions anyone's asked, Monica, or do you have any questions for me?
I think just basically had some agreements with how the importance of writing your goals down, and yeah, it's important that people take part and take advantage of these trainings and these lessons that we are getting from George. If you have missed anything, you can go back 2 weeks and look for your ReWirement part 1 and start doing the exercises. But also you can email George on your ReWirement for success@gmail.com and ask for the workbook. This is a workbook, right, George?
Yes, it's a workbook with the actual exercise in it. There's certainly some other, there's a description of what the poker chip theory is, and some pictures like that, a picture of the vision board. It's all in there, but the exercises are there. There's a brief description of what you're supposed to do for each one. And I encourage you to do the step. We are going to get to goals, trust me, but we're not there yet. You've got to know what you want first before you can write a goal to achieve it. Trust me on that.
Yes. Nora here is saying, how often should I check on my goals to make sure I'm on track?
Well, to be honest, we are going to eventually write goals and write affirmations. And those affirmations, I actually read them every night before I go to bed. Before I do the mirror exercises, I have an actual a plastic sheet, that you can stick on your fridge, or you can stick on your mirror. And I have my affirmations on there. I don't have them in front of me here, but I could certainly dig them out and share with you what they are. Oh, well, I pushed the wrong sheet here. Wait a minute.
No, not to worry. So Nora, you can email George so that he can send you the workbook. And since we are still in January, I think this is the best way to start the year, where you are doing a ReWirement program to reprogram yourself with the aim to succeed in 2021 and beyond. since you're also looking at planning for the next 5 years. I'm working along and I'm enjoying it. Do you have anything to add to conclude, George, before we close?
I want to just share one thing based on what she asked there, if I could.
Okay.
One of the things that we're going to talk about is the power of 5, and that's actually, you know, coming up. But one of the things that I do every night is I sit down and I actually ask myself, you know, what do I want to action do I want to take tomorrow? I call it the power of 5. You can use, you know, little sheets like this, or you can use the little you know, stick-em cards that you can buy. But I actually do it on my my phone. I actually have my phone ask me 5 times, what do I want? What do I want? And what do I want to achieve? And I write down 5 things every night. And those 5 things, what do I want to do? Well, maybe I want to file my income tax tomorrow, or maybe I want to open that savings account that I talked about and start putting you know, money in it for our vacation. Whatever it is, there, you know, it's a goal that I've already written. But, you know, I'll take a look at my goals and I'll look at, you know, what tomorrow is and what's possible. I always will write on here that I'm going to take my dog for a walk for, actually, I usually go for an hour. So I write it down on my power of 5. So you said, you're asking me the question, how often do you review your goals? I review them every day, because I have gone through this process and I have said how much, you know, these things that I want to achieve. Well, what can I do tomorrow towards those goals? I mean, you can't, you know, I can't, you know, you don't pick them off and you know, big things. I'm going to go buy that car. No, I'm going to start saving money for that car that I want, or that vacation that I want. And like, again, I call it the power of 5. So you chunk it down. You chunk it down into manageable steps towards your goal. Does that make sense? But I encourage you every day, write 5 things that you want to accomplish the next day. So it's always on your mind. It should always be on your mind, of things that you want to do and achieve. Whatever it is, I want to have a great day. Write it down. I want to have a great day tomorrow.
Be intentional, right? Be intentional of the result you want to get.
Be intentional. Be appreciative. I mean, who do I want to appreciate tomorrow? I'm actually making a goal. I'm going to appreciate, you know, the first friend that I meet tomorrow. When I see them, I'm going to do a 2-minute table topic from Toastmasters with them and say, Monica, you're the first friend that I met today, and I appreciate you. I love your smile, and I love to hear you speak, and I love talking with you. So you need to appreciate people. So maybe you make it one of your power of 5. You don't have to do it every day, but you know, the more you appreciate others, the more they will appreciate you. So
absolutely. So the more you appreciate others, it will also come back to you. Thank you so much, George, for the training. And I'm pretty sure that since it's recorded, people will always visit and do the exercises when they have got when they've got time. But also they can email you so that they can get the workbook and go along with you as you do the training. Really appreciate you for hopping on to Salve TV and sharing your knowledge with our with our viewers. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica.